This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto on this digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. Well, there's still a handful of games left in the NHL regular season. It's that time of year we can look ahead to the playoffs. And if the playoffs started today, we would see some incredible matchups in the opening round. So we're going to do the Eastern Conference today and focus on the West tomorrow. And the most intriguing matchup we would see is 21 years in the making, and would put two provincial rivals against each other. Of course, we're talking about the Battle of Ontario. It terrifies me a little bit because it's been so anticipated, but I have actually, as a Canadian, never been to our nation's capital, and I really think this would solidify the moment that I would go to cheer for my team away and really let them have it. Toronto has a 3-point lead in the Atlantic, and Ottawa's pretty much locked in the top wildcard spot. So there's a real opportunity that we could see these two teams face off in the playoffs for the first time since 2004. The history of this matchup seems to play in the Leafs' favor, because in their 4 all-time playoff matchups, Toronto has won all 4. But in recent years, Ottawa has been Toronto's Achilles heel, as Ottawa's won 6 of the last 7 games against Toronto over the last 2 seasons, and we're the only team to beat them 3 times this year. So even though Ottawa would be the lower seed, we can expect a close series. We would also see another installment of the Battle of Florida if playoffs began today, as the 2-seeded Lightning would take on the 3-seeded Panthers. After coming into the NHL just a year apart, it took 27 years for these two teams to face off in the playoffs. But after meeting in the playoffs 3 times over the last 4 seasons, they've gotten pretty familiar with each other. The Panthers won last year's matchup pretty decisively, but there's been a pattern of the defending champions struggling the next season, as 4 of the last 6 reigning Cup champs were bounced in round 1 of the following year. So this time around, the Battle of Florida could go any way. Over in the Metro, we see the Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. These two teams faced off in the playoffs 5 times before, and while the Devils won the first matchup, the Canes won the next 4. Considering Carolina is the higher seed, and the Devils would be without Jack Hughes, feels like the Canes streak would keep going. Last but not least, we have the top-seeded Capitals taking on the Canadiens. While they've only played each other once in the playoffs before, it was a series to remember, as back in 2010, the Habs upset the President Trophy winning Capitals in a thrilling 7-game series. And fittingly, if the playoffs started today, these two would be in the exact same position. The series would give Washington a chance to get revenge 15 years later. And with the way the Habs have been playing lately, we know it probably goes down to the wire. Of all those potential matchups, taking my team's matchup out of it, I would definitely love to see the Habs take on the Capitals. That would be electric. To the association, with 6 games to go, we can officially say that your Toronto Raptors are eliminated from the play-in. Not that they were really ever going to get in anyway, but it's nice the fans can officially give up on that dream. And many pundits don't seem to think they can catch the Nets, and they should be able to hold off the Spurs, who are 4 games ahead of Toronto. But the Nets have won 2 straight, and let's just take a look at both teams' remaining schedules, because with one more head-to-head matchup between them, and the Nets having a winnable game against the Pelicans, maybe they can swap? But the Raps also have a very winnable game against the Hornets, and flipping just one spot makes a major difference in the lottery odds. In the current spot, 7th last, the Raps have a 31.9% chance of a top 4 pick. But if they swap with the Nets and get into 6th last, those odds increase to 37.2%. Now when it comes to tonight's game, the Raps are doing their best to try to tank this one, as Scotty Barnes is questionable, while Grady Dick, Brendan Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, and Manuel Quickley are all out tonight against the Blazers. And you can watch that one on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Time now for my favorite segment, and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And despite the ridiculous snowfall we got randomly yesterday in southern Ontario, spring is here, I guess, which typically brings the return of outdoor activities, like biking down endless flights of stairs. In his caption, he had to be so aware that nobody was coming up the stairs, because that would have been a problem. I just want to know genuinely how he got up there. That's the hard work. Time now for Saucy Sounds, presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And as you likely know, my career before sports was video games. So I absolutely love when the two worlds collide. And you may not know this, but the broadcasters who have to do color and play-by-play on sports video games have to read the same line over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Over and 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 over again.
Over and over. Damn, I really love Marshawn clips. We should put them in here more often. So for someone like ESPN's college football announcer Chris Fowler, who is the voice of EA Sports College Football, it can really be a strain on the vocal cords, which means you need to use a tool like this.
Here's what's been going on this morning. This misting device helps hydrate the vocal cords in times of stress, and this morning qualifies. I did 155 touchdown screams for the new EA Sports game, and it was like this. Touchdown, Thundering Herd! Touchdown, Green Wave! Touchdown, Hilltoppers!
I always thought it was just lozenges or something like that, but I get it, because when you steam, you really open up the vocal cords. That's a very interesting contraption. Is it specialty made just for him? Let me see how badly that would hurt. Touchdown, Green Wave! Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that a bunch of times, over and over and over. Hard work.
And over and over and over and over and over again.
That's it for me today. Luca will be filling in tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good one.